So choose wisely. Whoever's name you shall write will die.
Yeah, I read the inscription.
Wait, what are you doing?
Oh, I'm just getting some names down.
How many have you written?
I'm on like 80, 81.
80 names! You get that they die!
Yeah. So, Death Note. This is a anime/manga that many people have been wanting me to check out all the way back when I started Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. And I'm finally getting around to it now that I'm coming to the end of One Piece. I figured it's a good time to go ahead and kick up with another from this medium. It's not a genre. I'm going to keep saying that because I keep seeing people say it in my comments. Let's get this out of the frame. And I didn't know much about this going in. Just the base premise that there's a book, you write names in it, people die. I didn't even know there was a demon that came along with it, or these heavy religious undertones. And this is going to be my first impressions video. I do not mean this to be a full comprehensive review. All I've seen is episode 1. And yes, I am going with the episodes. I'm currently reading One Piece. I've kind of given up on the anime there. And so for this one, I'm enjoying the show because most fans seem to be a pretty big fan of it. If this is your first time seeing me review manga or anime of any kind, just know I'm new to this. I'm about to be 27 and this is like my third or fourth manga inspired thing that I'm consuming. So just get ready for me to be an idiot. That's the brand. And what I have to say is it's the job of the first episode to hook you, right? Like that is on base premise what a pilot needs to do. It needs to set up and execute a premise, a world, certain characters well enough that you as the viewer go, okay, episode 2. Truly incredible pilots will just cause you to binge the entire season without even stopping because you are just drawn in enough that you do not want to do anything but consume. Unfortunately, this didn't quite get onto that level, but I was definitely intrigued by what Death Note put forth here. We meet a main character named Light, and I alternated between the English dubs and the subs for this episode. Go for the subs. The dubs are just what? I don't know why, but they seem to always direct the English voice actors to just be as over the top and breathy as possible, and it drives me insane. What's the script say? He's bending over and picking up dog shit. Yeah, you want me to direct it like he ran a marathon and he's cutting at the same time? Okay. I guess it's just a medium choice, but that's just one I'm not personally a fan of. And Light is an overachieving student within school, and he one day just watches a notebook drop to the ground. And I'm going to get into full spoilers for episode 1 here. It's just the first episode. It's initiating incidents. I'm not going to be going any further than that because I can't. But if you want to go in completely fresh, stop now and just know I do recommend it. And already one subversion that I had here that I really enjoyed. I have grown up, watching a lot of 90s and 80s horror films, and typically if there's a demonic book, it looks like a demonic book. It's going to have all kinds of horrible symbols on it, but instead the Death Note here just kind of looks like any goth kid I knew in high school's notebook, which is kind of great. I actually really like that stylistic choice. It's fun. It's kind of just like an unassuming little notebook that, yeah, you can start murdering with. And Light picks up this book and just out of sheer curiosity writes the name of someone he sees taking hostages on TV, and that person dies of a heart attack. Quite intelligently, he doesn't just buy into this superstition. He goes, oh my god, there might be something here, but I need to verify. Simultaneously, we see a demon in another world who is bored. And I actually really like that motivation, especially when applied to supernatural forces. I don't know why. I've just always thought that's kind of interesting to have a other dimensional super being who's just like, same shit, different day. Genuinely, the only way the Death Note could be more unassuming is if it was like a yellow pad like this one. Like, that's the only way the Death Note could be less conspicuous. More inconspicuous. English sucks. But the real interesting hook came in the last minutes of the episode, because for the first half, it was generally where I thought it was going to be heading, but then the twist comes, and after Light does actually affirm, yes, we see there is a assault happening, and he writes a name down, and the person dies because Conveniently, the person's name is said, so he now knows the person's name and face, which you have to know the face to make it take effect. Otherwise, you would just kill, like, all John Smiths. If you wrote John Smith, you need to know the person's face. So he's like, all right, this works. And we see him in a room just writing away, and the demon shows up and is like, so you've picked up the Death Note. Oh my god, how many names are in there? What the fuck? Obviously, the demon's more chill about it, but the demon is genuinely like, dude, you got to work, because what Light has decided to do is just start writing the names of all, like, known major criminals and morally horrible people, and that's great. This isn't someone who's struggling with the moral confliction of what they're doing, and instead we have a protagonist who, in my opinion, from this first episode, is a sociopath with a god complex, because they have deemed themselves the moral judge and executioner of the world. And they even go on this long monologue to a demon where they're like, this world will be remade in my moral views, where only those I approve of are allowed to continue forward. And what? I was expecting this to be like a whole season or a series of someone really coming to terms with, like, do I have the right to do this? Is this good? Is it bad? And maybe this demon tempting them into it. But even after the demon tells them, like, you're not going to be sent to heaven or hell after you die because of this, you're going to me. Light's just like, that's cool. I don't know, it's fine. I'm going to be a god now. And just continues on with his moral judgments. Okay. I am hooked. Consider me sufficiently hooked. Now, this wasn't like the greatest pilot I've ever seen for a show. I did have some, not gripes, but just things that struck me as average. The dialogue and the events that kind of lead up to showing what the driving force of this narrative is going to be, I found to be a bit predictable. I did like that turn where Light is a high-functioning sociopath, but getting to that point, it was just like, okay, yeah, we're going through what I expected. And I'm willing to admit, I'm very spoiled when it comes to animation. Really, my experience when it comes to watching anime is some of the best in terms of the visuals. And so what was presented here, I found to be nothing special visually. I like the creature design quite a bit for dyslexic, leave me alone. But I was not at any point kind of taken away by the beauty of the art presented to me. The music as well was fine, and the intro song, it's like every anime intro, just lots of like, and then the tone of the show is just entirely different. But my criticisms really end there. This pilot got what it needed to do done. It didn't overstay its welcome. It was kind of just an in and out, and honestly presented the story and setup and goes, if you want to watch from here, continue on. So I could see why fans would like this a lot. Actually, if I'm going to draw a parallel to a franchise I'm a major fan of, if the Wheel of Time pilot just kind of gets through the initiating incident in as well a structured manner as this show did, I would be thrilled. Just getting to the end of Winter's Night, to the point where Death Note got to the twist of Light's very eager to kill. It's his favorite thing, because this guy's not even like, you know, I'm taking on a job, I'm gonna have a heavy heart, but I feel like I need to morally do this. And instead he's like, this is what I was made for. That's just, I love that. That's such a good way to take this show and manga. I assume the manga is the same. But that is my first impressions of the first episode of Death Note. Pilots are typically the worst episodes of seasons, at least in my experience, especially for fantasy, because they have so much world building and setup to get through, and it's hard to kind of juggle all that. So the fact that Death Note did it so cleanly means I'm going to give it a very solid 7.5 out of 10 just for this first episode, and I wouldn't take that as like a review of Death Note. That's just my general feeling getting into this now, and I'm excited. This is going to be a good one. Let me know what you think of Death Note in the comments down below. Like and subscribe if you have not already, and after I get through these last couple One Piece arcs, I will be beginning Hunter x Hunter. And if I like it, I'll get through all that as well. And for that, there's currently a poll on my Twitter where I ask people if I should do the show or manga, and that's how I'll decide how I proceed with that one here. Have a good one, y'all. Peace. And of course, I'd like to record a special shout out to my high tier patrons, John the Wicked and Belle the Brave.